It's always amazing when you can catch a card out of thin air, but that's a skill you develop. Now what if I told you you can train a deck to catch a card? What does that even mean? The spectator selected card is in the first half of the deck, and the second half of the deck just contains a bunch of cards. The decks pass through each other and your card is caught by the other half. Not only will it shock your spectators, but they won't even see it coming. Just watch. Alright, yo, so check this out for those of you who are curious. Today I'm going to be using the White Tiger playing cards by Arc. That tuck case just looks so nice, I can stare at it all day. We'll start off this trick by giving the deck a quick little shuffle, maybe something like this. If the spectator wants, they can shuffle it up as well. Now, we need a card selected, so as I shuffle through like this, just call out stop, let's say here. Take a look and memorize that card, right? Memorize that card. Once it's been memorized, we'll lose it somewhere in the center of the deck. And we can even give the deck a shuffle like this if we want to. Right, push these cards together, and it should be fairly well lost somewhere in the center. Now here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna try to read your facial expressions, and the way that this is gonna work, I'm gonna take this face up half, right? Just turn half the cards face up. As I go through the cards, just think of the card in your mind. Try not to make any facial expressions, but just think of the card in your mind. I'm gonna try to read your face and see if your card is in this half. Oh. I heard it right from your face. I saw it, right? I don't think your card's in this half. I'll leave this half right over here. I think your card, that means, has to be in this half. Now, do me a favor and just think of the color and suit of your card. I'm gonna try to read it through your mind this time, right? We're gonna try some mind tricks right here. I'm getting red. I'm getting, it was a heart. It was a high card. It was a high card that I'm thinking. You selected the King of Hearts. Is that correct? Right? Boom! That's how we do it. All right, but let me take this one step further. So we saw that your card was not in this face-up packet, but in this face-down packet. I'm gonna shuffle this packet up a bit more, right? This is the face-up packet. We're gonna try to transfer your card from the face-down packet to the face-up packet. Check this out. I'm gonna riffle these halves together like this, and I'm gonna push them right through, and this is where the other half of the deck is gonna catch your card. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Do you see it happen? If you didn't see it happen, check this out. I'm gonna go through each one of these cards and we'll see they're all facing up except for one card. And what did we say your card was? The King of Hearts? Well, check this out. The King of Hearts. Boom. What up, crew? It is Magic Monday, and this is your place to learn Magic, master your performance, and captivate audiences. The effect I'm sharing with you today is known as Card Catcher, and is from the Card College Series Volume 2. The idea of this trick is a brainchild of Ed Marlowe and Carmen D'Amico. It'll require a little bit of practice, but it's definitely worth the effort. So before we dive right into the tutorial, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and get ready to share with all your friends. Now grab your favorite deck, and let's do it. So here we go with the tutorial. I did make a few changes from the original when it comes to the handling of this move, but I don't think it's gonna have a huge impact for the trick itself. So to start off, it's nothing crazy. I like to hand the deck over to the spectator and allow them to shuffle it up as much as they like. This just gives them a certain degree of freedom, which they may not enjoy all the time in their lives, having some level of control. Now, once that's complete, I have them select a card, and there are many different ways to do this. Originally, what was taught in the trick was to have a card selected, right? So let's just say 5 of spades. This card has to be lost in the deck and then secretly controlled to the top, and then you want to get a glimpse at their card. That's in general what you want to do with this trick. So the easiest way that I found to do that, there are 2 different ways. First way I really enjoyed, I couldn't pull it off for some reason on camera, it was a lot more difficult. And then there's the way that I actually did the performance. So the way that I feel like would be a lot more fun to do, which I didn't do with the performance, but I'll get into that in a second, is to have a card selected. So I like to have a card selected as I dribble. Let's say this card here, right? So they can take this card, take a look at it. Let's say it's the 9 of clubs. They put it back on top. And as they're doing that, I get my key card, 8 of spades, and I can kind of dribble that on top. And then I can give it almost a false shuffle, where I do an overhand shuffle, and then when I get close to the center of the deck, I throw over a large chunk of cards, and I continue shuffling. And then if we take a look by my 8 of spades, it's, you can see the 9 of clubs is still underneath the 8 of spades, which again, this would work so well, but for some reason it didn't come across well on camera, because now I can get a glimpse and I know the card is 9 of clubs, but I need to control it to the top. So then I would perform the call, right, and shuffle this card from the back. By the way, if you want a tutorial on the call, put the link on the screen. Call it to the back, and then I can move it to the top from, from behind the deck, and it's at the top. But now the method that I used for the performance that I did is after the deck was shuffled, returned to me, I started doing an overhand shuffle. And as soon as the spectator called out stop, ideally I want them to stop somewhere in the center. I showed them this card. I just pushed this over to the side like this and showed them this card. And so for this trick, we'll use the 7 of hearts, right? So let's just say they selected the 7 of hearts. Now with this card selected on top of the deck, I in-jogged this card like this. So just using my thumb, I in-jogged that card and continued doing an overhand shuffle, right? So to them, it seems like the card is now lost in the deck, where here I actually have an in-jog, so I'll be able to find that card very easily. Once that's done, I say I can continue shuffling it, and now I'm going to push down and forward, coming in with my dominant hand, push down and forward to catch a break right above that card. And then I split the deck at this point, making sure the top half goes to my left. So now what I can do is I can riffle these two halves together. And as I'm riffling, I want to grab a peek at this top card. So I'm riffling and I tilt this towards my direction. I want to make sure you can see it on camera. But as I'm riffling, I tilt this towards my direction. And you can probably see that I get a glimpse of their card. So now when I riffle shuffle, right, I riffle the cards together, make sure to get a glimpse of their 7 of hearts. Now I know what their card is. And I push it together, and at this point we're ready to go into the rest of the trick. My camera battery had died, so I had to get that readjusted. Where were we? So now you know what the spectator's card is, and you have it controlled to the top. Of course, the spectator has no idea that you know what the card is, and has no idea where the card is. So what you're gonna do at this point is hold the deck in your dominant hand, and give the deck a swing cut, right? So I'm holding it in a middle grip, I break off half the deck with my index finger, swing it on over to the other side, and now I'm going to take this packet that's in my dominant hand still and turn it over face up, right? Now from here, it's all about performance. How are you going to make the most powerful impact to your audience so they're really captivated by the tricks or the magic effects that you do? So what I like to say is I want you to think of your card and just, I guess, keep your face as loose as possible. I'm going to try to read your facial expressions as we go through. And I'm going to try to detect if you see your card in this packet or in this face-up half. So now as I'm going through, of course, their card isn't in this face-up half. Their card is actually the top card of the face-down deck. So we're going through. I like to kind of take my time with this to kind of build a bit of tension. So we're going through slowly. I show them all these cards. And then at the end, after I show them, as I'm squaring them up, I immediately kind of draw their attention to my hand and I say, hold on, I think I got it. And that, again, takes away attention from what's about to happen, the next sneaky move that's about to go down. You're going to take the top card in along with the rest of these cards. So as I'm spreading through, I spread that one extra card. It's a bit difficult to see because the back design and the face for the face cards are kind of similar. But I'm going to take this top card, which again is a spectator selected card, 7 of hearts, and bring it along with this top half, where the spectator believes these are all just face-up cards and they did not see their card in this packet. So I square everything up, right? I grab a pinky break underneath the top face-down card, grab a pinky break, and then I put that down. So I said, okay, we didn't see your card in this half. That means it has to be in this half. And I turned this to face myself. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to say, let's see, the facial expressions work, but I want to take it maybe a step further. I want to try to read your mind. Okay, and I know that's a big leap, but just for the storyline, they'll go along with it. So as I'm going through, I asked them, okay, just think of the color of your card. And as you spread through maybe like 3 or 4 cards, you can tell them, okay, I think I'm getting a red vibe. And then as you go a few more cards, you can say, okay, is it a diamond or a heart? Just think of it in your mind. Oh, I think it was a heart. And now I also have a feeling that if you just think of the value of your card, I think it was like mid-range, maybe 6, 7, 8. And then what you want to do is as you get to the center of the deck, pull out a random card. And you kind of have to do this with the confidence that they're not going to peek over your shoulder and look at the card. You want to pull out a random card and say, I think your card was the 7 of hearts. Now, as you do this, of course, make sure you're not showing this card because you're picking out an arbitrary card from this packet to sell the effect that their card is actually in this packet, right? So that's done, and then you can put it back into the center of the deck where you say, but I'm actually going to take it a step further. So I like to almost add that on immediately as I'm putting this card back, so they're not driven to be looking for what card you just pulled out. They're just following along with the next step. And then you say, okay, so I'll put this packet face down. So we know your card's in this packet, and again, I just recap, we know your card's in this packet, and we saw that your card is not in this packet. So now you take this packet up, be sure not to expose this bottom card here because that would kind of give everything away. And now you're gonna do an overhand shuffle, again, not to expose the bottom card, do an overhand shuffle for about halfway through the deck, and once you're halfway in, throw the rest of the cards over. What this is doing is controlling that face down card to the center of the packet because that's where you really want it to be. So now you say, so here we have a face up packet that does not have your card and a face down packet that has your card. And we're gonna shuffle them together and see if we can catch your card and transfer it from one packet to another. Now, as you riffle these two together, make sure they're close to you so that as you're riffling, you don't want to be out here. Otherwise, people can see there's a face down card in this packet. So as you're riffling through this, make sure you're kind of doing it with the inner corners and lifting up as little cards as possible. So let me see if I can show you from a better angle. So we're here, and we're lifting up as little cards as possible so they do not see anything of what's going on, right? So once this is done, you want to do a push through move. So the way that you're going to do a push through move, let me actually do this a bit cleaner. All right, so you're going to do a push through move. As you're pushing through, you push at an angle. If you push straight ahead, you're going to mix the cards together. So you push at an angle, and I like to get the cards past each other like this. So you keep pushing until the cards are past each other. Coming out here. And then, actually, I don't go this way. I actually go this way. And my pinky fingers kind of help guide the cards right through each other. So I'm pushing at this top right corner of this face-up packet and the top left corner of the face-down packet. As the cards come through each other, my index finger goes in this crevice here on the right side, and my other index finger goes in this crevice here on the left side. So it makes the cards easy to push through each other. Once they're mainly through, I come across like this, right? Either like this or right here. And then from here, I grip this tightly because you want to make sure no other cards get transferred. And I pull out immediately. Don't tighten the grip downwards, otherwise you'll have an issue. But I just like to tighten the grip on the sides and then pull out. Then you can show the spectator, so your card was in this packet, and we saw that it was not in this packet. But as we go through, we'll find one face down card, and that will be your selected 7 of hearts. They will go berserk. For more mind-melting magic, check out this trick right over here, because if you've ever performed, you know you can't just do one. One is never enough. A huge shout out to my Patreon producers, and thank you, love you, see you soon. Here's the deck.